So we're missing Chad and Charlie.
Yep, I'm getting them.
Okay.
People keep
Oh,
moving
yeah.
around on me.
Luke, I thought you were getting a haircut.
I said I needed one. I didn't say I was getting one.
Well, my son did mine a couple weeks ago. I can send him over when he's back from Platteville if you want.
Maybe after the border review tomorrow, and then it can kind of grow itself back out and fix it up if I mangle it like.
Fair enough. I decided to start the beard today, so this is the end of Babyface Evan. I can see Katie doesn't believe it's Babyface, but
Let's see. I don't see any likely. Was Chad at finance?
He was. Luke, give me 1 second. Ellen's having some issues here. Hold on 1 second.
All right, cool. Oh, there we go.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Chad.
Sorry, my network was disconnected for some reason, so
Are we good, Adam?
Yeah, Ellen's mic isn't working, so I'll handle a few of the things tonight, which is fine.
Otherwise, everyone has to learn sign language really fast. All right. With that, I will call the meeting to order for the Verona Common Council for Monday, September 28th, 2020 at 7:04 p.m. We will begin with the roll.
Alderperson Touche.
present.
Alderperson Cronin.
Present.
Alderperson Reiki.
Here.
Alderperson Cole.
Here.
Alderperson Journey.
Here.
Alderperson Posey.
Here.
Alderperson Ryan.
Here.
Alderperson Kemp.
here.
All right. Internet troubles notwithstanding, full house. Awesome. We'll move on to item 3, which is public comment. Mr. Sayre, anyone under public comment?
No, we had no one register ahead of time.
Gotcha. Pretty late meeting agenda. We'll move on to item 4, approval of the minutes from the September 4th, 2020 Common Council meeting. Questions, comments, motions?
Move approval.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Cronin. Last chance for corrections to the minutes. Seeing no hands. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the September 14th, 2020 Common Council meeting, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Under mayor's business, I don't have any items. So we'll move on to item 6, which is announcements. Any announcements from the council? Seeing no hands, we will move on to item 7, the administrative report. Mr. Sayre.
Thank you. Just a few reminders. Tomorrow night we have border review that starts at 5:30 p.m. Ellen had sent out that the agenda. We're still working on a few of those items to hopefully lessen the agenda, but that is the current agenda that we have right now. So just once again, reminder, 5:30. We have to meet for a minimum of 2 hours. The meeting will go to at least 7:30, and that will be held via Zoom as well. And that invite went out a couple months ago. Yes, Chad?
I just wanted everyone to know I will be there, but I will be mobile. Obviously, if there's a kid in the background, I will mute my mic.
A few other items I have is a prescription drug take-back event that will be on October 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I encourage people to use that. It'll be outside under the overhang at City Hall. Social distancing will be there as well, so it'll be a safe event that people can drop off any unused or unwanted prescription medication.
Alder
Can you
Street.
repeat the date and time, please?
October 24th, and that's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Yep. Also in the report that was in the packet, we do have the hours for early voting. We'll be posting those online if they have not been posted already. As part of that, we've worked with the senior center staff. They're assisting people as well by being witnesses on ballots. That began today and ends on October 30th. So if people are looking for that, they can call the senior center and make an appointment if they need a witness. And that's a big thanks to the senior center staff for helping out with that. That's a nice resource and opportunity they're providing. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions for the council.
Any questions for Mr. Sayer? I have one quick question. Were all the people listed on the board review agenda, is that the total amount of people, or is there potentially more?
I believe that's it, correct, Ellen? Yes, okay. Yep.
Okay, see.
That's
Cool. Alder Cronin.
Just a quick question. Was there an email that went out with an agenda as opposed to the one that just had information?
Yeah, the agenda email went out about 4:30 today, so it should be in there. But I know Outlook is having some issues nationwide, so it may have gotten hung up someplace.
Okay, I'll take a look.
If you don't have it by tomorrow, let me know or let Ellen know. We can always drop one off at your house too.
Okay, thank you.
I got mine.
Alder Ricky.
I was wondering if I could please be excused at 7:30, even if the meeting isn't over. Would there still be quorum?
I think so, but we'd have to see how it goes tomorrow, Mr. Sayer.
I think so, unless there's others that are not going to be there. Is everyone going to be there?
Yep.
Okay, so that should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the administrator's report? Seeing no hands, we'll move on to item 8, engineer's report. Ms. Fisher.
Thank you. For the well 6 pumping station construction, the contractor is continuing to work on miscellaneous electrical, HVAC, and finishing items. The gas service and meter have been installed, and the contractor is finishing internal gas line connections. Contractor actually today was doing generator load testing, and well startup is currently set for October 8th with a backup date of October 15th. For the Woods at Cathedral Point Phase 1, placement of the base course for the streets is underway. Topsoil is being placed on the residential lots. For the Harmony Hills Detention Basin cleanout, this basin is located east of the 1200 block of Enterprise Drive and south of Lucerne Drive. Price estimates from the 3 contractors have been requested. Public information meetings are currently scheduled through the library for October 14th at 6 p.m. and October 20th at 6:30 p.m. And those meetings will be virtual. Letters will be sent to the residents immediately adjacent to the basin to inform them of the information meetings and the planned work. For the major design projects, East Side Interceptor design, the bid opening occurred September 17th. The awarding of the construction contract is to be discussed later in the agenda. A letter to adjacent property owners was sent the week of September 21st, which was last week, notifying them of the project in an upcoming public information meeting in late October/early November. For the Lincoln Street Stormwater Facility design, final design continues to progress. Permitting meetings were held last week and may be held again this week with applications to follow. Then the team will progress toward 90% design documents by early December. And finally, for the North Main Street water main replacement design, a site visit with city staff and the fieldwork for the survey was completed in late August. The preliminary water layout has been started. Right-of-way documentation was requested by the city last week and was received today. Plans and specifications are scheduled for final delivery in winter. And with that, I can take any questions.
Any questions on the engineer's report? Seeing no hands, thank you. We will move on to item 9, which is committee reports. First up, we have 9A, Finance Committee. Alder Kemp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion for the payment of the bills in the amount of $497,872.55.
Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Cronin. Alder Kemp.
For the sake of discussion, this month we had a payment to AECom for engineering services in the amount of $35,866.15. Our $20,000 appropriation to the Badger Prairie Needs Network for this year. A payment of $23,732.16 to Brown and Caldwell for the Lincoln Street Pond design. $203,217.90 to Madrell Excavating for well 6, $40,894.30 to Tri-County Paving for the Cemetery Drive paving that they're working on, and then also another $38,800 for the Veterans Park Tennis Court paving, also going to Tri-County Paving.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments on the motion to pay the bill? Seeing no hands, all those in favor of paying the bills as described by Alder Kemp, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion passes. Anything further from finance?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to 9B, Public Works, Sewer, and Water Committee. Alder Touche.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 9B1, I'm making a motion to approve the project closeout and change order number 1 for project ID 2020-101, 2020 Verona Street asphaltic rehabilitation.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Ryan. Alder Touche.
Payne and Dolan has successfully completed the 2020 asphaltic rehabilitation project along Northern Lights Road between Breckenridge Road and Nine Mound Road. Change order number 1 is to rectify as-built quantities for the work required to complete the project. There was a deduction in undercut excavation for unsuitable soils. That item wasn't used. An additional deduction in crushed stone for subgrade stabilization. Closeout for the contract with Payne and Dolan and final payment will be issued in the following way. Contract award value is $197,527.50, with change order number 1 deducting $42,015.26, bringing the final value to $155,512.24.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments on the motion? Seeing no hands. All those in favor of approving the project closeout and change order number 1 for project ID 2020-101, the 2020 Verona Street asphaltic rehabilitation project, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. That motion passes. Alder Touche.
Thank you. Next up, 9B2. I'm making a motion to approve change order number 2 for project ID 2016-123, County Highway PD Woods Road to County Highway M.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Ryan. Alder Touche.
Thank you. Payne and Dolan has successfully completed the expansion of County Highway PD between Woods Road to County Highway M. Change order number 2 is to rectify as-built quantities for the work required to complete the project. Addition of items were curb and gutter, milling of the asphaltic surface, and rectifying as-built quantities. Contractor noted that the original.
Alder Touche.
Thank you. Next up, 9B3. I'm making a motion to award contract for project ID 2018-108, East Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Replacement.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Kemp. Alder Touche.
Thank you. The East Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor is for the replacement of the interceptor from Bruce Street to lands just north of Arborvitae Place. The project includes a replacement of the 15-inch interceptor that was constructed in 1960 to increase capacity and replace aged infrastructure. The Madison Metropolitan Sewer District, or MMSD, and Dane County will also be joining the construction project and paying for their portion of the project as agreed to in the previously executed agreements. The city received 7 bids for the project, and the 2 lowest included are 2 lowest and highest bidders. Lowest bidder is Minger Construction Company out of Jordan, Minnesota at $7,761,804.60. Next closest bid was a company out of Cottage Grove, RG Hudson Company, just shy of $3,000 over that. And then the high bid came in at $973,000 and $973,003.51. That was out of Fisher out of Freeport, Illinois. Our estimate with contingencies for this project was $8.8 million. The following bid items included a 24-inch interceptor pipe, so obviously we're upgrading size, and a 24-inch force main pipe. Minger Construction Company, which was the lowest bid, has not completed work for the city previously, but based on pre-qualification for the project, past work performed in other communities, and reference checks, the City of Verona Public Works staff, including Madison Metropolitan Sewer District, is of the opinion that Minger Construction Company Incorporated has the personnel, equipment, expertise, and financial assets necessary to complete this project. Thank you.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments on this motion?
If it's not obvious, this is a big project for the city. It's, well, in this case, $7.7 million. There's going to be a fair amount of disruption along the Badger Mill Creek. We've heard this before. I do know that Dane County is heavily involved. That includes their parks. I know there's a lot of considerations for the trees and the growth that's down along that area. And also the Glacier Trail. I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking on the proper name for them. Say that?
Ice Age?
Ice Age Trail, thank you. The Ice Age Trail group has been involved as well. So a lot of, I'll say, people that are involved in all of this have been part of the planning process. And then finally, I know Public Works put out a letter this week to all the neighbors who neighbor this area. So a lot of moving parts. There will be a public meeting for this coming up once this contract part gets figured out. Thank you.
Thank you. Alder Rieke.
Thanks. I raised my hand before Evan was done talking. So I just wanted to make sure that people know that there will be information about how to join in public conversations about this in the future when we have a date.
Other questions or comments on this motion? I'll just say I think it's great to see the Ice Age Trail Alliance involved. Good group to have advising us. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of awarding the contract for project ID 2018-108, the East Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Replacement, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from Public Works?
That is all.
Great. We'll move on to item 10, new business. First up under 10A, we have a discussion and possible action regarding the proclamation for Halloween trick or treat hours. Mr. Sayer.
Thank you. The proposed proclamation will set trick or treating hours from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on October 31st, Halloween. Dane County Public Health has issued guidance for trick or treating, and the link was included in your council packet. In general, the guidance provides social distancing recommendations, a guide for how to safely trick or treat, and how to hand out treats. The public is encouraged to review and follow the guidance. Some of the guidance also includes trick or treating with the only people that you live with, sticking to your neighborhood, wearing a mask, social distancing, not coming in close contact with groups of 6 people, closer than 6 feet to people. Setting the bowl outside, encourage people to set the bowl outside and not hand it out in person. And then also just bringing hand sanitizer. And then if there's concerns, letting the candy actually sit for a day or two or 72 hours. So Dane County has a nice kind of one-page listing of guidance that is available to the public.
And so if I can just throw on a few things too. Normally, this is just something we kind of just do automatically. We declare it same hours, same day, and it's something we don't think or talk about. But we are in the one in 100 year, the middle of a one in 100 year pandemic. So I figured it made sense to kick it to the council and see what people thought. So does this seem like something we want to move forward with as a city, or is this the kind of thing we maybe want to cancel this year? I would take thoughts or motions on this. Alder Count?
Honestly, I haven't even thought about it. I know my kids would want to. It seems to me that they're outside the majority of the time. And all summer and all spring, you know, kids were running around outside. I think if parents are reasonable, if people are reasonable and they're not walking around in large groups, again, they're mostly going to be outside. So if it were up to me, I would vote in favor of it. I'd like to try and get as much normalcy as we possibly can, as long as we do that safely and we are considering those things. So I would urge us to vote in favor of it, but with very strongly written language, and really encourage people to follow the guidelines. I would also ask that if it's possible, we issue those publicly on the city, if it's not on the website already, for sure. And if there's a Facebook post for the city, if we could do that too, to reach as many people as possible with what the suggestions are.
Alder Ricky.
Yeah, I was just gonna advise that if we could make the wording stronger with the not handing out candy in person, I guess. And then if you aren't able to follow that suggestion, just turn your light off and don't participate this year. You know, as a person to be handing out candy as opposed to a person with small children who are going to be trick-or-treating and might want to wear their costume mask as opposed to their safety mask. So I didn't know if that was something we could just make the wording stronger in.
I mean, we definitely have control over how we communicate, so we can definitely emphasize it. Alder Ryan?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I definitely support the proclamation with the recommendations. I would add to that parents should have a backup stash of candy, because good luck trying to tell a kid they have to wait 72 hours. So.
Other thoughts or motions from the council? Alder Cronin.
I make a motion to approve the proclamation of the Halloween trick-or-treat hours for 2020.
Motion by Alder Cronin. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Cole. Motion before the body. Any further discussion on this proclamation? Seeing no hands. All those in favor of the Halloween trick-or-treat hours proclamation signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Mr. Sayer, can we, when we communicate this with the public, can we add notes about the guidance from Dane County Public Health?
Yeah, so we haven't posted anything because obviously it hasn't been approved, but we'll put some emphasis on the guidance. We'll also encourage people to not hand out the candy, and then just tell people if they're not interested in participating, just turn off your light, which is what people do most years. So we'll take care of that next day or two.
Sounds good. And I mean, if any day is right for wearing a mask, it's Halloween. So hopefully everyone will be masked up.
There you go.
With that, we will move on to 10B, a discussion and possible action regarding resolution number R-20-036, authorizing the issuance of an $800,000 municipal revenue obligation of the city of Verona, Wisconsin to ACS Holdings LLC. Mr. Sayer.
Thank you. In 2019, the city approved the issuance of an MRO, municipal revenue bond, obligation for the ACS project, which is located in Liberty Business Park. ACS was recently granted occupancy of their building, requiring the city to approve the MRO formally. So this is something that we kind of do approve it as part of the TIF agreement, but we have to come back and actually formally approve it once they actually take occupancy of the property, the building. The MRO provides ACS with up to $800,000 in a pay-go TIF incentive for up to 90% of the available tax increment for the project. Payments would be made from 2021 through 2041 or until the $800,000 in payments is completed. The adoption of the resolution is more of an administrative formality, as once again, we've already approved the development agreement in the terms of the TIF incentive. So once again, we'll bring this back just because it's a requirement of the actual development agreement and the MRO requirement. So it's pretty straightforward. We're agreeing to do what we promised to do last year. I'd be happy answering questions though.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments, or motions on this item? Alder Kemp, did I see a hand?
Yeah, I'll make a motion adopting resolution number R-20-036, authorizing the issuance of an $800,000 municipal revenue obligation of the city of Verona, Wisconsin to ACS Holdings LLC.
Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Rieke. Motion before the body. Any questions or comments on this motion? Seeing no hands. All those in favor of resolution number R-20-036, authorizing the issuance of an $800,000 municipal revenue obligation of the city of Verona, Wisconsin to ACS Holdings LLC, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion passes. Next, we will move on to 10C, which is discussion and possible action regarding ordinance number 20-968, amending section 8-1-4, eliminating the weed commissioner and amending the ordinance to benefit butterflies. Mr. Sayer.
Thank you. So end of last year, we were approached by, I think, the Monarch Society. They had an exhibit actually at the library, I think late winter last year, and they approached city staff and let us know that milkweed was listed as a noxious weed. So they request that we take a look at our ordinance and actually amend the ordinance to allow milkweed because at the current time it's listed as a noxious weed. So as we were amending that ordinance, we took the opportunity to kind of clean up some other language in the same section. So the first thing the ordinance would do would eliminate the weed commissioner. Currently, the building inspection department is the one who actually goes out and enforces weeds and long grass in the city. So we've removed the actual title of the weed commissioner and those responsibilities, which we haven't been following. We removed those to kind of clean the ordinance up to reflect what's been occurring for at least the last 10, 20 years. The second amendment we took care of was we added Japanese knotweed as an invasive species. It's invasive, and we added it to the noxious weed listing. So that is now considered noxious weed in the city if this ordinance amendment is approved. And then finally, we removed milkweed from the noxious weed list because it's an important plant for monarch butterflies, as the caterpillars feed exclusively on milkweed. So we took that off the list as part of this. So once again, we're kind of cleaning up the weed commissioner duties, adding Japanese knotweed as a noxious weed, and then removing the milkweed as a noxious weed. City staff has reviewed these, the police chief has reviewed this, and also the city attorney has reviewed it, and there are kind of no concerns from city staff, and obviously we're recommending approval of the ordinance amendment.
Thank you for that explanation. I just want to add, I think it's good that our ordinances reflect what we're actually doing. And if the building inspector handles it, then that's what the ordinance should say. But anyways, questions, comments, or motions on this item?
How much does that position pay?
The weed commissioner?
Yeah, I sign me up.
Yeah, I wanted to know the last time we had one, honestly, just for posterity.
I believe it was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. There's a date in the ordinance where we're supposed to appoint somebody every year. We haven't done it, at least in my 8 years here.
I believe Ron Reeder was the last appointed weed commissioner, and it just I think by practice or custom, it went to the public works director. But I could not imagine putting something else onto Theron's plate and being like, "Oh, if you're not busy, can you take care of this?" But yeah, questions, comments, or motions? Alder Cronin.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 20-968, amending section 8-1-4, eliminating the weed commissioner and amending the ordinance to benefit butterflies.
Motion by Alder Cronin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Alder Ricky, maybe? I think. Okay, that's what we'll say. Anything to add, Alder Cronin?
No, thank you.
Motion before the body. Questions, comments on this motion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of ordinance number 20-968, amending section 8-1-4, eliminating the weed commissioner and amending the ordinance to benefit butterflies? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no? And that motion passes. It's legal to grow milkweed in Verona now. That's great. We are on to item 11, adjournment. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Motion by Alder Touche. Is there a second?
Second.
I think Alder Kemp had that. Seconded by Alder Kemp. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? And we are adjourned at 7:33 p.m. Thank you.